Hey guys, it's John here, American Taxidermy Company, Akron, Ohio. How are we doing today? So yesterday I skinned a bunch of ducks and I saved the carcass. Why? Because I wrap my own bodies and I get a lot of questions. How do I wrap bodies, or why do I wrap my bodies in the first place? Well, first off, it's something I could do here in the shop myself. I don't have to worry about ordering a body. I don't have to worry about things size-wise matching up perfectly. It only takes me a few minutes to make one. I can make it fit exactly the way I want it, and it's very cost-effective. It's cheaper than ordering all the forms. Also, storage. My shop isn't that big, so I don't need to stock a bunch of forms. I don't have to have all these bird bodies sitting on a shelf taking up space. All I have is a basket. I have a Tupperware tote, like a large Rubbermaid tote, that I keep my bird body material in, and my neck material I can keep hanging up on the wall, so it takes up a little less space. Plus, I just prefer doing it. So that's why. So, how? Here we go, guys. So, the first thing I use is wood wool, Excelsior. Okay? I've seen this stuff in machine shops used for packing, all kinds of reasons to have it. This stuff doesn't cost that much and it goes a long, long way. So the first thing I do is, like I said, I save my carcass, and the blue tape around the carcass is just so I can write on the tape whose body it is, what number it goes to. And what I mean by numbers, once you're here in the shop, I assign a number to your mount. So I don't get names mixed up, frankly. It's easier for me to keep track of a number than a name. I get a lot of guys that have the same name, and it just keeps me from getting confused. So I take this wood wool, this Excelsior, and you want this packed rock hard. You want it hard. So basically I get this and my carcass and I line it up, and what I'm looking at is the top and the bottom the same size. I look at my girth and I'm a little bit bigger than my carcass, and that's what I want. I want it a little bit bigger because I'm going to pack it down, make it strong, make it nice and tight. I have the string, and I first start lengthwise wrapping this. So when I squeeze it this way, it doesn't elongate, it doesn't expand. So I continue to check my carcass. And here I'm not wrapping it very tight. All I'm doing is wrapping it in such a way that it's going to hold its shape. I'm always checking against the carcass. So I've got my shape down fairly well, my size, and I've seen guys mount them just like that. I don't. I want it a little bit more consistent, a little bit more smooth. So I'm going to continue wrapping this, continue checking my size, my anatomy matches up. I'm just going to continue wrapping and wrapping. So as I'm doing this, I appreciate you checking out the YouTube channel. Things have gotten a little busier here in the shop now that it's turkey season, and I haven't had a whole lot of time to put up any new videos, to do any content, but I appreciate you finding it. I appreciate your patience as I learn what I'm doing here as far as video and create better videos for you. Now, I've got this basically where I want it, but now I want it smooth. I don't like having things hanging out like that. And that's just a personal preference. Nothing to snag on that skin, on those feather quills, on the inside of that bird. And I almost dropped it. And I'll show you, this is how you wrap it. And we'll go on to what's next that usually gets a lot of the guys hung up. So I'm just going to tie a knot to keep my string in place. I don't need a big fancy knot by any means. Because I get guys say, you know, I wrap my bodies and the string comes loose, things start moving around. This is how we work against that. So I'm just going to take a drop of super glue and I'm going to put it on my knot. And sure enough, this one is about dead or clogged. Yep, we are either really gone or really, yep, really clogged. There we go. So I'm just going to put a gob of super glue over my knot. Since we're working with birds, we're working with a lot of borax because I powder my birds. I use borax. If you take a little pinch of borax and put it on your glue, it sets your glue right now. Rock hard. That's also how we repair bones. So one day maybe we'll get into that. But back onto this body. So the next hardest thing is our anchoring points, our wiring points. Where do I stick the wires through this? How do I know what's what? What I do is I lay my carcass down. And right now, I am looking at the breast. I'm going to take a Sharpie and I'm going to create a center line on the breast side of my form. I'm going to take that around and put a center line where the backbone would be, where the spine would be. And that's just for reference. So now I'm going to come over, and where exactly is my anchoring point for the neck? Well, I've got the carcass right here. My anchoring point for my neck, I'm going to just put a large black dot. From there, I'm going to look over and get my anchoring point for my wings with some dots, so that's comparable to my carcass. I'm going to flip it over and I am going to do the same thing for my legs. My anchoring points for my leg wires. So now I know everything anatomically is exactly matching up perfectly as far as the body is concerned. Body to carcass. So I've got my body now wrapped. That only took a couple minutes. I've got my center line. So when I'm putting the skin around the form, I know what's true and what's center. I've got my anchoring point for my neck material. I've got my anchoring point for my wings. I flip it over. I have my anchoring point for both legs. So that tells me perfectly where to wire everything. While we've got this out, I keep my neck attached to the carcass when I'm working it so that I can get my neck material right where I want it. I'm going to take my necking material, and there we go. No argument, no fighting of how long is my neck. Is it too long, too short? No, it's a perfect match directly off the carcass. Also, when you have your carcass, it's a great way to play with it and understand how the neck vertebrae move. So if you watch this here, it'll bend down. I compare it to like a snake. So if that head is to be close to the body, like this, you can see it bends way down here. So I don't cut my neck material that long. I bend that down how that wire. That's how that wire should go. Your neck wire should go. If we're flying, if we're standing up alert, if we're more of a resting, you can see how you're going to have to bend your necking material and your wire to be accurate. Yes, I use rolled wire. A lot of guys fight and argue trying to get their wire. They hate paying shipping rates because they're buying rods. They're buying sticks of wire already straight for them. I just use this and straighten it out myself. Only takes a moment, guys. Especially when you go through a lot of wire. Like I do. I can run up to my local big box builder store and I can buy this stuff in the roll dirt cheap. Now my connection point, and what I'm doing is I'm just clipping that at that angle, and that's how I'm sharpening it. I got a piece jammed in there, that's why. Cutting it at that angle creates a nice sharp point for me, so I don't have to take it to the wheel. But this is going to be for my neck material. If I was going to be doing this as my rod attachment to the wall, I don't trust this. It's got too much flex in it, so I will use rod iron. I'll use something a little bit heavier for that. So what we're going to do now is I've got an anchor point where I know where my neck material is supposed to go. I go right through, right back out the back side. I fold this over just like that, and I run it back in. What I will then do is take my super glue and I will put a couple drops of super glue for my wire, where my wire's at. I will take a little bit of borax, put my borax directly over that glue. My glue's now rock hard set. You can also, the glue I use is called Starbond Medium. I use a medium. It's not gel. It's not really runny like water. It's right in the middle, so it stays put right where I like it. and I prefer Star Bond. It comes with, when I order Star Bond, it also comes with all these little micro applicators, precise little micro applicators, so I can pinpoint drop exactly. You can see the size of that goes down to nothing. So you can be more precise when you're doing skin around the bills or anything like that. Also, there's times I use the Star Bond accelerator. So the thing is, with the accelerator, I could put a drop down, give it a hit of that real quick, and it sets hard. But while we're working with borax anyways, I might as well just do that. So my neck wire is exactly where it needs to be. I'm going to run a little glue up my wire, put my neck material down, and I'm done. The very last thing I do is, remember I had tape, this blue tape on the carcass. Now, well, here, this is something that frustrates guys. I had a little bit of my wrap just come loose, my string. What you can do if that happens is you can actually take a bead of super glue and run it down the body on top of all your wrap, just like that. And now I never have to worry about that wrap coming loose. So as I was saying, I take my blue tape now, I use this tape for carding my feathers into place. Okay, so I get a wrap of my blue tape around it. I take my Sharpie, and this is number 399. So number 399, number 3. 399, number 3. What that means is this is job number 399, bird 3. It means he brought me 3 birds, and this is for number 3. It's just how I keep track of things. So now, number 399, number 3, your body is now wrapped and ready to mount. All right, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you learned something. If there's anything else I could do for you, if you've got any ideas of any videos I could do, I'd really appreciate it. You could help me out by commenting below and letting me know what they are. Comment below if you appreciated it, if you learned anything. I really thank you a bunch for being part of this, and I'll help out any way I can. Thanks a lot, guys. Keep an eye out here on my YouTube channel for anything new.